Oh, Astros lose 6-5 to the Philadelphia Phillies. We can slice this up. We'll slice it up. We'll cuss and discuss it. But my my biggest takeaway here is very simple. Justin Verlander's the story. We can talk about Dusty Baker's decision. Here's the comments are right there. You can subscribe. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610. We can sit here and we can slice it up. We can talk about bats. We can talk about all that crap. This is about Justin Verlander, and this is about Justin Verlander's inability to hold a 5-run lead. And the most troubling thing about it is that Justin Verlander, this is the norm for Justin Verlander lately in the postseason. This is the start against the Yankees, as nice as that was, that was more of not the norm from Justin Verlander. Like the Philadelphia Phillies did what Seattle did to the Astros when Justin Verlander was on the mound. They roughed him up. Unfortunately, today, the bullpen and the situational hitting couldn't bail him out. Bullpen did their thing. They did all they could. They held it together for 4 innings, and then Garcia came in, which, trust me, we'll get into that. Bullpen, they've been good this whole postseason. I'm not going to blame Luis Garcia for giving up a home run. And if we're power ranking blame, I'm not going to blame Dusty Baker for not using Stanek. Although it was really, really weird. This is about Justin Verlander. And it's not like this should have caught Justin Verlander by surprise. Justin Verlander, we were talking about this leading up to this whole thing. Hell, half the questions seem like they were about Justin Verlander. Is he going to win a World Series game? Is he going to win a World Series game? Is he going to get the job done? He got a 5-run lead in a World Series game. Didn't hold it. This one's on Verlander. Period, point blank, end of story. This one's on Verlander. And it's a miracle that Verlander's your worst starting pitcher at this point in the postseason, and Altuve's your worst hitter, and you're still in position to where you have a chance to win the World Series. Verlander ERA in the World Series is 7.20. Yes, it is. His ERA in the playoffs is 7.20. I don't know about in the World Series. If you count last year, I don't know what it is, but yeah, his ERA in the postseason this year is 7.20. He's pitched 15 innings, allowed 19 hits, 12 earned runs, 19 strikeouts. His ERA is 7.20. Hadn't been good at all. No one else noticed the sticky stuff on Robertson's hat. Are we really doing that? I hope that's a joke, Mark. Seriously, I really hope that's a joke. I'm afraid it's not. The breaking balls thrown by Verlander were catastrophic tonight. Yes, they were bad. Everything he did was bad. The whole feel was bad by Justin Verlander. Sheldon Verlander hurt, but it's time to swap Altuve and Bregman. Verlander's not hurt. Oh, you're saying he hurt. Okay. See, I'm a little snappy right now. I'm annoyed by this Phillies team, man. There's no juice there. They bore me. This is more about the Astros than the Phillies. Phillies did nothing different than what Seattle did. Phillies attacked Verlander's breaking balls tonight, scored all of their runs on home runs tonight. Win the World Series, probably won't win tomorrow. Okay. So you're not feeling good about old Fromber. Why did he switch to breaking balls? I don't know. Why don't we ask Maldi? Maldi always calls a good game. Ask Maldi why he switched to breaking balls. Don't ask Verlander. Ask Mr. Maldonado, who I have to hear every time someone pitches a shutout. I got to hear freaking Martin Maldonado called a good game. What about today, Dusty? Did he call a good game today? He did get a nice little hit, one of the weirdest base hits that I've ever seen. The OG actually took a bet on that. But ask Maldi. He's the one who gets credit when Verlander does good anyways, or any other pitcher. So ask him why he switched to the breaking balls. I don't know, Coach. Not mad at you. I'm mad at the the loss. What adjustments can Dusty Baker make in the pitching rotation for game 2? I don't know that he has to make any, although I am intrigued to hear what he had to say about the decision to bring Stanek in with a man on and 2 outs and bring Garcia to start the 10th. Very intrigued by that. He didn't have it. No, he didn't. Verlander throwing fastballs was working for Houston. Okay. We don't give up 5-run leads, thus should light up our bats, I guess. You ask Maldonado for us. I'm not there, bro. Do you see the background? You want me to ask Maldonado? I mean, I don't know. Maybe Spillane will ask him. I don't know. I'm sure someone will. Chandler Rome, someone like that. I got some green for you if you need to relax, Landry. All right, might take you up on that. Just kidding. Not. We will be fine. John Smoltz calling the game is super annoying. I think Smoltz is good. He's like a Tony Romo that doesn't like brag when he's right. If he's right, he's just right. I actually don't mind John Smoltz, but I just want to hammer this point home. This was about Verlander not coming up big. Nothing more, nothing less. And quite frankly, I could cross off the big. Cross that off. Matter of fact, let me change this on the go. This was about, let me change this on the go. We'll do a little on-air editing. I said this was about Verlander not coming up big. Not. All right, this is better. Get that up there. This was about Verlander not being able not to suck. That's what it was. Not coming up big. Come on. 5-run lead. That was all it was. This was about Verlander not being able to not suck. And you know who's the biggest victim of this? I'm going to get B. Scott in here in a second. Biggest victim of this is Kyle F. and Tucker. How much more of a badass can someone be? Kyle Tucker nonchalantly just basically says, handle my lightweight. Yeah, we'll try to finish them in 4. Hopefully it's quick because I got to go enjoy my vacation. I want to go back to Tampa, surf or whatever the hell they do there. 2 bombs in his first 2 at-bats. Gives you a 5-run lead. Dude's on the fast track. He's still one of the favorites, but he's on the fast track towards a World Series MVP. And I'm having to sit here talking about why Luis Garcia pitched instead of Ryan Stanek in the 10th inning. This ain't about the Phillies. This is about the Astros not getting the job done when they should have. Give me this Philly stuff. Didn't do anything different than the Mariners did. Talk to baseball, Spo or Berman. Yeah, Spillane will probably talk about breaking balls and decisions like that all the time. Hell, he might be in the clubhouse talking about it right now. I would have rather gotten blown out than lose this way. Horrible. Yeah, maybe. Is Justin Verlander, James Harden? That's an insult to James Harden, honestly. That's an insult. Don't insult James Harden like that. James Harden didn't blow no 5-0 lead. What's a 5-0 lead in basketball? I mean, they've lost some close games. I'm sure they've blown some leads. But James Harden with the first of all, he's never had this type of cast around him. Like what Verlander's got. And second of all, 5-0 in a World Series game, man, I've seen some bad James Harden performances. I ain't seen much like that. King Tuck was so effing money. Yes, he was. Who would you have gone with in the 10th? Look, here, I'm fair to Dusty Baker. If my initial thought is he shouldn't do that, then I'll come on the radio and I'll say, all right, I don't believe he should have done that. But my problem is like when there's like an ass backwards way of thinking. And the best reference, the best example I can use, and if you're just tuning in, you're new to the channel, if you're from Philadelphia, screw you. No, I'm just kidding. Congratulations. But I need like a level line of thinking. Like if Ryan Stanek's fried and he's mentally drained and you don't want to go with him to start the 10th inning, then why do you bring him in with 2 outs and a man on? Because that's more pressure actually than starting out the 10th inning with Ryan Stanek. You know what I mean? So if he just wasn't available in that situation, he wasn't available in that situation, but you have him on call, he's ready to go, and you're trying to steal outs with Garcia. It seems like you're trying to steal outs. So when I see Stanek come in, that's my problem. And it's like Bill O'Brien. If Bill O'Brien, when the Texans, and it's appropriate because they would have hosted the old Oilers down the street in an AFC championship game. But if Bill O'Brien's going to kick a field goal when he's up 21-0, okay, then why the hell are you faking a punt shortly after that in your own territory with Justin Reed? Like, did you need points or not? That's the problem I had. I don't know what Dusty was thinking there. It almost seems like maybe he thought the game was going to go longer. So he went with Garcia, because I thought if Garcia was going to come in, I was thinking like the fourth. After the fourth. But that's just where we're at. I guess that's the way baseball go. You know how baseball guys like to talk. That's just baseball, no matter what happens. Grand slam home run. That's just baseball. Sacrifice bunt. That's just baseball. Lose by 20. That's just baseball. Walk-off loss. That's just baseball. So I guess that's just baseball. Who would you have gone with in the 10th? Again, don't know. I probably, if you're going to tell me that my man was available, Stanek, then yeah, I probably would go with Stanek. If you didn't trust him for some reason, then okay. Kind of seems like you're just trying to steal some outs. I don't know that this is the time to do that. B. Scott, sportsradio610.com hops on. B. Scott, overall thought is this is about Verlander. That's it. Like, Verlander didn't protect a 5-0 lead. They're, Philly resilience, whatever. They did what the Mariners did. They roughed up Verlander. Dusty's decision in the 10th shouldn't have come down to that. Jose Altuve struggles shouldn't have come down to that. Lack of situational hitting shouldn't have come down to that. This is about Verlander. And it sucks because that's supposed to be the guy you trust. You didn't even ask him to do much. You asked him to hold a 5-run lead. It sucks.
Yeah, I don't want to hear nothing about the 10th inning, honestly. Like, to me, it's nitpicking. You can make an argument for putting in Stanek instead of Luis Garcia, but to me, I think it's a good way that you put it, saying that they was trying to steal outs, because to me, they're trying to be cute. Like, man, look how many starters we got. Like, actually, we ain't even got to go to Stanek. We're gonna throw the starter out here. We're gonna throw Luis Garcia out here, and that's how we gonna win the game. To me, it's like, nah, why don't you let the guys that excel in those roles excel in those roles? And that's a role, like coming in with a clean inning in the 10th, that's a role that Ryan Stanek, to me, has excelled in throughout the year. So I don't want to hear nothing about the 10th inning. This is, again, like you said, about Verlander, about being spotted 5 runs, and you were perfect through 3. I don't know what happened between the 3rd and the 4th inning, but you were perfect through 3. You're spotted 5 runs. Kyle Tucker is a badass, comes out there and makes an early case for World Series MVP, and you can't do anything with it. We were saying this earlier on the post-game show on Sports Radio 610's YouTube page. I did not entertain for a second, once they took a 5-0 lead, that between the fact that Verlander was on the mound, this bullpen, okay, and we're 3 innings into the game, okay, this bullpen, Verlander on the mound, I did not entertain the idea that they would lose this game. Okay, the 3 runs in the, what was it, the 3rd inning, or the 3 runs in the 3rd inning?
The 3rd, and then 2 in the 4th.
Yeah. So I did not. For me, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, that's just them, giving up a few runs, and this is gonna be, they're gonna get some insurance runs. The bullpen's gonna come in and lock it down. I did not think that Verlander was going to go out there and cough it up. So to me, there's no bigger story. You can pick apart Dusty Baker's decisions. I had more of a problem with the lineup and the idea that we're going to put Trey Mancini ahead of anybody other than Martin Maldonado. That to me hurts. I think you need to probably just ditch Mancini for now. But other than that, I'm looking squarely at Justin Verlander. I'm looking squarely at Jose Altuve, trying to see when he's going to get out of his funk. And Yordan Alvarez, honestly, at the end of the game with a horrible at-bat, and quietly has not been that good since the first couple of 2 games of the postseason. So your 3 main guys did not perform for you in Game 1 of the World Series.
And it shouldn't have mattered. It's about the one.
Yeah, because Tucker did. Tucker did, and Tucker could have carried you.
Yeah, it shouldn't have come down to this. And, now Dusty's having to answer questions about bullpen usage and all that type of stuff. Hell, you shouldn't have even had to use the pen as much as you did. And that's where we're at.
Yeah, yeah, man.
we're
And,
at.
and, and I know a lot of people have talked about about Verlander's breaking ball and him having trouble with the breaking ball, or that being the pitch that was getting hit, like once it kind of fell apart for him. But he wasn't locating his fastball either. You said this too earlier in the thing. Like everything was bad. Everything was bad. Like he wasn't locating anything. Lost his command after those first 3 innings, and then in the 4th inning, I thought was a key moment in the game that kind of swung the game. He had a moment or a chance to field his position on a JT Real Muto comebacker, doesn't catch it, has to field it and throw it to first. That's a chance for a double play if he catches that ball and you're out of the inning. Instead, the inning continues, and then not even just after that, Rhys Hoskins on the next at bat, Bryce Harper hits a single. And Rhys Hoskins does not haul ass from second to home. Phillies fans were mad about this before they won the game. They're not going to talk about it anymore. But Rhys Hoskins just jogs his little happy ass over to third base, and he almost got bailed out again. Verlander almost got bailed out twice there. Or at least had an opportunity to get out, not bailed out, but at least had an opportunity to get out of there without any damage. And I don't know, man. It's just like, okay, you had all of these opportunities. You should have fielded your position on top of the fact that you didn't have any command. You get a base running mistake from the Phillies that could help you out. Can't take advantage of that. Command's bad. Verlander's bad. It's just bad. Doesn't feel good.
It was just bad. And Verlander agreed. I mean, he seems to agree with what we're saying. He told Chandler Rome and the media types there, I need to be better. No excuses. My team gave me a 5-run lead and I wasn't able to hold it. I feel like 99% of the time I'm able to hold it. Today I wasn't. So Justin Verlander knows what we know. I mean, he's not. I mean, he's a veteran. He's very self-aware.
Yeah. And there's no reason for him to be anything other than accountable for something like that. Like, what is he supposed to go out there and say? Well, I thought I was really good. I thought giving up a 5-0 lead.
Been done.
Was I thought that was great.
I mean, I just feel like there's some pitchers who would say that outside of one pitch,
Oh yeah, or I couldn't grip the ball. It's just so hard to grip the ball, or they let or they let the roof open or some nonsense.
I thought another key moment was Neris with the bases loaded.
Yes.
As soon as he got that strikeout and he was running off the field, screaming and hollering and stuff like that, pounding the chest after getting a big out against his former team. Top of the lineup coming up. I thought that was kind of where, how sometimes you have those games and those moments in a baseball game where it just seems a little bit bigger. Like that 3-run. For some reason, that 3-run third just felt, the third, it just felt like it was a little bit more than the Astros still have a 2-run lead. It felt a little bit different. Like it felt like it was a really big deal at the time.
I did that earlier and said it was the third. It was the fourth. You're talking about the Phillies 3-run. It was the 4th inning. But yeah, man, I felt man.
Yeah. Verlander was perfect through 3. My bad.
Yeah, and I messed it up earlier too. But so my thing about I agree with you on Neris. Thought that was huge. But even before that, like I know Brian Abreu loaded the bases, but this is going to be a point about the whole Stanek Luis Garcia thing. I just trust these relievers in their roles to do the thing that they've been doing all year. So like I don't need to get cute with Luis Garcia in the 10th, especially if you haven't blown Stanek yet. Like to me, those guys are there for either some type of marathon.
You think it's going 15.
Like right, that's what I'm saying.
Like it was going 15.
Right, but they should be on the back end of the marathon.
The thing about that is that, and again, this can be complete hindsight, but you have Urquidy, who hasn't even thrown a pitch the whole postseason. You have Garcia, who you can piggyback off someone when they get in trouble. Like, you don't bring in Luis Garcia for high leverage situations, especially if you have Stanek on standby. That doesn't make a ton of sense. Like, especially when you think about now, if you get to 13 or if the game gets to 12 and you're starting to look at your bullpen and say, we got to burn guys. That's why you have guys like Garcia and Urquidy. It almost just felt like Dusty assumed that they were going to play like another 18 inning game or something like that. And he was going to need 5 from Garcia.
Yeah. but why do that, especially at home? You know what I mean?
At
like
home, it doesn't make sense because
yeah.
you're not having to save Stanek to like close the game.
A bat away from winning the game. Like you don't. I don't know.
Like, was Garcia going to pitch 1 inning?
No, you're not gonna wait. You're not gonna waste Garcia. You're not gonna waste 1 inning on Garcia. You know, I mean, I don't know. Unless you're no, is the answer. No, he was not gonna pitch 1 inning. But then he runs into trouble, and you got to bring in Stanek to bail him out anyway. When it could have just been Stanek all along, and you didn't have to be here. You know, don't pitch Garcia unless you absolutely have to.
Vince Savage is having some fun. Shout out to Philly fans. Y'all deserve it. Y'all should be very, very happy about this dub. So talk your shit, man.
Speaking of Phillies fans, hold on, wait. Speaking of Phillies fans, I'm gonna speak on behalf of an Astros fan and the way I feel right now. Is this shit gonna happen again? Like, is this gonna happen again?
Are they gonna be the NL East blunt where the Mets passed you around in '86? Astros suffer their worst loss. The Nationals get at you in 2019. The Braves get at you last year, and then this year the Phillies. I don't know. I mean,
John Smoltz on the broadcast said that he thought that if this was before, obviously they took the lead. He said he thought that if the Phillies won the World Series, it'd be the most improbable World Series run of any since he's been around the game.
Well, I mean, it would have to because they extended the playoffs. Like they were They were the last team in, and the win deficiency between them and the Astros, second highest ever, I think, right?
Yeah,
like the difference in wins in the regular season. I think it's the second largest margin of dubs ever. So yeah, I guess it would be improbable, but even then, it would be more about the Astros than the Phillies, in my opinion. I think it would be more about the Astros not handling their business.
Yeah, it was specific to this series, yes, but even like from an overall historical perspective, what was the word that they were throwing around pregame or pre-series was dynasty? Is this a dynasty? Is this a dynasty of this what would be dynasty is going to be losing to inferior teams in 3 straight postseasons or in 3 straight postseason appearances that you had. You know, 2019.
That was, although I don't know that they were inferior to Tampa Bay in 2020. Are we counting that?
No. I'm talking about in the World Series. I don't mean. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean losing to inferiors in the 3 World Series that you had. Like, to me, you're talking about this being one of the more improbable World Series runs. Well, I thought that the other 2 World Series losses by the Astros were also 2 of the more improbable World Series runs when you consider who the Nationals were in 2019, like coming out of nowhere. And then even in 2021, last year, the Braves, they made all of that happen at the trade deadline, like remade their whole outfield and then just all of a sudden became a player. So, yeah, and then the Astros, the model of consistency, throwing the word dynasty out there. And here they are losing to the Nationals, the Braves, and potentially the Phillies if this doesn't go right. So that was my feeling as this thing starts to crater. I'm like, come on, man, not again. This not gonna happen again, is it? Bad feeling.
Could very well.
Yeah, well. No, that's why I'm like when I'm hearing you talk about all of this, you know, dismissing the Phillies. I'm like, man, look. I get that the Astros are way better.
I said they were boring and they're irrelevant. Like, I know Smoltz is trying to make it historic. I'm saying nobody's going to give a rat's ass about the Phillies 3 years from now if they win a World Series. Just like nobody cared about the Nationals. They're boring. Like, we see baseball teams get hot at the right time all the time. They're boring. I'd pick the Astros to win in 6. My point is this is more about the Astros. Like, if we've said now three World Series. Well, is this a dynasty? You got to win another one to be a dynasty. Astros have failed to get it done. They still got a chance here. Would I still bet on the Astros? Yes. But when I say boring, I didn't say they were trash. I do think they might be the worst team the Astros have faced in the postseason. Maybe they're better than the Yankees. I don't think they're
Yeah, I
better
think
than
they're better.
Seattle. I don't.
No, they're
I
better
don't
than the
think
Yankees.
they're better than
They're
Seattle.
better than the Yankees. No, they're better than the Yankees, though. They're better than the Yankees.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't know though. I mean, maybe I don't know. They got some star power between Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, JT Realmuto. I was looking at their lineup before the series started, and I was like, man, you know what? Underrated lineup, man. Like, I know you're saying more boring than trash, but boring or not, exciting or not, man, the Astros got to get it done. Like, don't lose. You think they boring? Well, they damn sure better not lose to no boring team.
You see this all the time. Like, you see the team get hot, random baseball lifer, rallying around each other. This is not a new story. I mean, if you're from Philadelphia, sure, it's great. You're going to remember this. You're going to tell your kids about it. But from a national perspective, it's boring. Nothing there. Nothing to see. Like, and they're not even, like, you can't even get, like, the thing that I'm jealous of right now in Philadelphia is it's easy to hate the Astros. It's really easy. They're hateable. Yeah. They cheated. They're cocky. They're arrogant. They're really good. So it's easy to hate them. And hate with sports.
Their favorite, yeah.
Hate with sports is like caramel and fudge with ice cream. Like, that's awesome. Like, that makes it even better. I can't make myself hate the Phillies. I mean, you want me to try? Like, what do you want me to say? I don't dislike them. They're just there. And I'll see a team just like the Phillies next year. And I'll see a team just like the Phillies the year after. Might be a few more wins, but we'll see it. Like, as long as baseball's extended, some team will get hot. They'll have an improbable run. They'll have some baseball lifer that's up there that says, yeah. No, that's not Dusty Baker. That's not solidifying one of the best legacies ever. That's not a dynasty. It's boring. No one will care about this. And nobody will probably care about this in 2 weeks if the Phillies win. All right, so outside of Philly, they bored me.
All right, so the Astros obviously got to win a game to extend this thing.
Come on, dude.
Right? They obviously got to win a game.
What are you saying?
I'm setting up a question for you. So they obviously got to win a game to extend this thing so we can have a game 5. Game 5 would be one Justin Verlander. How the hell are we supposed to feel about that?
I mean, you're supposed to be nervous because he hasn't pitched well in the postseason. But, I mean, if it's, let's say it's 2-2, is the leash shorter? Like, if Justin Verlander has, like, a proportional outing today to next time, like, does Dusty take him out after 4? Can you trust him too much? Because I had no problem with sending him back out there. Shout out to all you geniuses that said that you would have taken him out. I wouldn't have. I'm just going to be honest. I wouldn't have.
I think no, don't shout them out because they're lying. I don't believe a damn one of you would have taken him out. No, you wouldn't have.
Yeah,
you would have taken out
him in there after 4. I would have sent him back out there with the 5. With the 5. So I'm not going to sit here and criticize Dusty for that. But will I say the same thing? Like, if the series is 2-2, hell, if the series is 3-1, will I say the same thing if Justin Verlander goes out there and he allows 3 runs and a 5-run lead? Am I going to say that? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we've seen him kind of have those starts, and those are usually the most impressive to me with the greats is you don't have your best stuff, and then you go out there and you squeeze out 6. You squeeze out 6. You allow 2 runs in the first, and then somehow you squeeze out 6. You got, 55 pitches through 3 innings or whatever, and somehow you get through the 6. That's where it's impressive. Those are the impressive starts. But I don't know that I can trust Verlander at this point. I don't know that I should.
Another thing that you mentioned feeling jealous about or jealous of Phillies fans about, a thing to feel jealous of them about. How about the confidence in your ace? Like I get that Verlander had a rough World Series pass and postseason pass going into this game, but I still felt good about the ace going into the game. Now you fast forward after game one, don't feel as good about Verlander, especially once it gets to a game 5. If it gets there, hopefully it gets there. And
Fine.
the
The hell is
Phillies,
wrong with you? Why are you
hey,
even talking?
hey, hey, man. And then the Phillies go into game 2 with their ace, having just stolen the game and with all the confidence in the world. And after watching the Astros in the game with some poor at bats, really only watching Kyle Tucker really do anything against you, like really have a big game. Like the main guys weren't good. So that's one thing that I'm jealous of. The Phillies fans can go into game 2 confident in their ace, and you're leaving game 1 at probably at the lowest point, feeling at the lowest point about yours, if you're an Astros fan.
Yeah, now the pressure's on Fromber. Because I thought that game 1 last time was big because Fromber's been really open about the psychology and letting the pressure get to him too much. I think Spillane was talking about him doing like a bunch of sports psychology to calm down in postseason and in big moments, and it's paid off. But now I'm not saying he hasn't like flipped the switch, but this is a lot more pressure now than, even what he had in game 2 against Seattle when the Astros found a way to win and give you a 1-0 lead. Now you got Fromber on the mound and like your back's against the wall. So if he's acknowledged that he felt the pressure in the past, the pressure just intensifies. And that's why when you're Justin Verlander, you got to take care of this business. Like there's a snowball effect in baseball that's really crazy. And a lot of the potential snowball effects of this series, they were able to happen because Verlander put them in the position he put him in. Like Luis Garcia gives up a go-ahead home run. He's been nails. Like he's been nails on the back end, but sometimes you give up that one postseason home run, you're not the same guy the next time out. So Luis Garcia had to experience that because of Verlander. You had to pitch all these guys in leverage situations. So now Philly's kind of seen these guys. So you're in that situation. And sometimes this stuff snowballs and sometimes it just lasts a series, like sometimes it's just that thing, but it shouldn't have even, this game should have been in cruise control after Kyle Tucker's second home run. And if that meant Verlander being a little bit more aggressive and, he allows a couple of runs, but then he calms down, that's fine. But this should have been in cruise control, but instead it turned into a very high leverage emotional game. And now people are mad at Dusty Baker. They're mad at other people when really they should just be upset that their ace didn't get the job done.
Yeah. I mean, that's the story of tonight's game. As far as tomorrow night goes, I think about like my confidence level in just the big players in game 2. And Fromber, as much as we talk about it, the psychology stuff, whatever, anxiety, whatever is the proper word to kind of characterize whatever he goes through, performance anxiety, whatever it is. Like Fromber's probably the least of my concerns tomorrow, if I'm honest about it. It's more of the lineup. Like outside of Kyle Tucker, you didn't really feel good about the at bats today. Jose Altuve, like you got some issues here that to me are probably more
to add a bat. Like that was one of the biggest things. They failed to add a bat at the deadline.
Yeah.
And I mean, what did they, I know Vasquez has been good. So I guess you can give that, but
barely though.
Nothing.
Yeah. Will Smith has been
nothing.
About
Vasquez as a backup catcher. I mean, he got a post-game interview.
Yeah.
Game 3. So
he's had
good.
Yeah, he's had some moments, but I mean, overall, like if you take his overall body of work, none of them have been good. Have been like overall good. Like even Mancini had a moment.
Has been a disaster. Like you didn't add a bat.
Yeah, no, your trade deadline moves failed unequivocally. Trade deadline moves flat out failed. All you're asking Mancini to do for the most part is hit. Like he's out there as your DH, and he can't even do that. Like the issue during the season, second half of the season was like, they don't know where to put this guy in the field. And like now it's like, okay, well, the hell with it. Let's just let him hit. And he can't even do that. So like, I thought at the very least, like what you're trying to do at the trade deadline was make up for the fact that Michael Brantley wasn't coming back. So you needed somebody that could play left field for you and DH. And at the time, Yuli Gurriel was a disaster too. So it would help to have somebody that could play first base too. I thought that was Trey Mancini. Here's a guy that can play first, that can play left, and that can DH for you. Not so much.
And he's not playable.
Not
That's
playable.
what a lot of people are saying.
Unplayable. Yeah.
And if you really want, like, if we're looking at Click, and I'm not trying to act like this is like an end of season, like there's still plenty of baseball to be played, but like even the guys that have been good in the bullpen, like Neris chose the Astros because of what Jeff Luhnow built. Like it's not like James Click scouted out Neris and said, you know, I really see something in this guy. He had similar offers everywhere, and you can look it up. He said, I want to compete with a contender. So Neris came here because of what Jeff Luhnow did. Like James Click, really, he's done a good job holding down the fort. And I guess if you want to credit him with the bullpen, you can. But Presley was Luhnow. Abreu was before James Click. Like Neris came here because of what they had. Your moves at the deadline, they didn't really pay off. But you still got some stuff. So who would you put at DH?
I mean, it's got to be Diaz and who's been bad as well. But at the very, like when they pinch hit Diaz,
Gilmore at DH.
When they pinch hit, like I get it, he's been bad. But when they pinch hit Diaz for Trey Mancini, I feel better about it. If they went,
no, I do too.
If they went Hensley, I wouldn't complain about it. You know what I mean? Like it's almost at this point just like anybody but Mancini. Hell, if Vasquez isn't gonna be catching, he could DH. You know, like, and I know you probably want your backup catcher, but yeah, I mean, to answer your question, anybody.
How come they haven't entertained the possibility of Vasquez?
I'm saying Mancini's got to go. It could be.
He's been there and done that. Like Vasquez has been there and done that. Vasquez did have. I mean, he had the post game interview when the one time he started. Like we keep looking at these DHs and we keep saying Diaz, he's stinking. Mancini, he's unplayable. I mean, you know what Alex Cora did with Vasquez in a World Series, like in a World Series. Do you know what he did?
Played him at first base.
He played him at first base. Why? Because he wanted his bat in the lineup.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
In a World Series, he wanted his bat in the lineup. So he played his catcher at first base. Why not let Vasquez DH?
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Not even an option.
Because at the very least, you're still fulfilling, and this is the cynical view, and I'm not even sure how much this actually factors into anything. But even if you want to go with the cynical view of, hey, he's leaning into his own trade deadline moves. Okay, well, there you go. Here's another one. Mancini's not working. Go with Vasquez. Why not? I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe because you feel like there's going to be a point where you have to
connects with one.
No, hell no. Maybe there's a point where you feel like you need to pinch hit Maldonado. You know what I mean? Like you need to bring in Vasquez for Maldonado, and you're trying to keep that option open. Maybe from a strategic standpoint, that's it. But even if that's the case, I don't care. You know, like Mancini's unplayable, so we need the bats in there as early as possible. You know.
Yeah, they got to figure that out, man. They got to figure that out. I almost thought they should have, and I know Maldi had the hit, the little nibbler. I almost thought they should have pinch hit Vasquez when Maldi was the final out when it was tied.
Yeah.
Like, because there's no like real method to when they do and when they don't. Sometimes it's in the 7th, sometimes it's in the 8th, sometimes it's in the 9th. I think I'm just talking myself into questioning Dusty now, and I don't. There's a lot of people that are pissed off at Dusty. I don't get it. Like I don't understand it.
Well, my whole point about Dusty and
the Stanik's weird though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. My whole point about Dusty and the criticism, the Stanik thing is weird. I think I understand what they were trying to do. I just don't agree with it. But my criticisms of Dusty are not about the pitching decisions. It's really more so about the lineup, both the fact that Trey Mancini's in the lineup to begin with, and where he's placed. That's where my criticism really starts and stops with Dusty. The whole throw in
But that
Luis
shouldn't be enough to cost you a game. Like if you
No.
yeah, and that's the thing.
Verlander
Like
cost
if
you the game. Verlander cost you the game.
Verlander cost you the game. And a Facebook user, Verlander choked, period. Dusty got overwhelmed by the moment after the fourth. Maybe so. But look,
I know I damn sure was.
Yeah,
we were all overwhelmed.
I was chilling, bro. After that second Tucker bomb, I was chilling, man.
No. I'm talking about once we get into that fourth inning and shit starts to go left. Yeah, I got a little I got a little overwhelmed too. I don't blame him for being overwhelmed. Verlander cost you the game. I'm just saying, when you want to pick apart the pitching decisions, I get why they, in their mind, have some confidence in Luis Garcia in that moment. Just that I prefer that. I prefer that, like I said earlier, that the guys that play in those roles, that perform in those roles, perform in those roles. Not until it becomes a marathon do you bring in Luis Garcia. And like you were saying earlier, if you feel like you got to pitch him 4 or 5 innings or something like that, that's when you bring him in. But in the 10th, that's to me is still a Stanek moment.
Bro, you have the best reliever in baseball statistically. Like I feel like the more we talk about this, the more ridiculous it seems. But if he was available, he was available, man.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing. Best or lowest ERA in franchise history for a reliever, and objectively one of the better relievers in all of baseball. Probably your best guy. Montero's been excellent, but probably your best guy.
Oh no.
What?
This is going to drive some people crazy. Are you ready for this?
What we got?
We have a quote Twitter from Dusty Baker.
I was off Twitter. Let me see if I find it too.
It's from Chandler Rome. I'm going to put it up on the screen.
All right.
Here's Dusty Baker. So we've been talking about going with Garcia in the 10th. And what's up with Stanek?
Okay.
Here's Dusty Baker's quote after the game. The matchup sheet.
Oh, see, I gotta hear that in context, because
it's matchup sheet.
Nah, hey, I gotta hear that in context, because you know what I'm hearing, or the way I read that interpreted. Dusty's almost saying, "Yeah, I would have went with Stanek," but the matchup sheet said, and the analytics said
the matchup sheet.
Because
my God,
does Dusty Baker? When has Dusty Baker ever struck you in all of his years of managing? When has Dusty Baker ever struck you as a matchup sheet type of manager? And I get he's with the Astros now, but that, if you were going to tell me what is going to be the explanation that Dusty Baker's going to give you in a post game for a decision that he made that may or may not be controversial, matchup sheet, and out of all the creativity and all the things that Dusty Baker has been able to say at the podium over the years, wasn't expecting matchup sheet. And he might be right. That might actually be the truth.
So he's got to go by a matchup sheet?
That might be true. Man? Damn.
Grown-ass OG like that has to go by a matchup sheet?
What a matchup sheet said.
That's what we're doing. I'm not saying go by the gut all the time, but he went with the matchup sheet. See, this is the confusing thing with Dusty, and this was when I got mad. The maddest that I got at Dusty this year was when he kind of started like trying to have his cake and eat it too. Like sometimes he says gut, and then sometimes he says analytics. And it seems like sometimes, like whenever it's analytics, he blames analytics. But whenever it's gut, there's not really like any, like I came out and, trusted my gut.
Yeah. Trying to have it both ways. But
matchup sheet.
But you know what, though? I do wonder, like, how much.
Sheldon says he heard him say it. He seemed like he was serious.
Yeah, no, that actually sounds. Not that he wasn't serious. I'm not questioning whether he was serious. I'm questioning whether he was whether it was okay. So tell us, comment again. Was it snarky? Like, how did it come off? That's what I want to know. I want to know the vibe. Was he just like, well, like kind of shrugging his shoulders? Like, did he say it with any kind of conviction? Like, not just that the matchup sheet said it, but that he believed the matchup sheet. Because to me, Dusty Baker's the type of manager that'll look at a matchup sheet and say, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I like Stanek in this spot as one of the better relievers in baseball.
Matchup sheet. Big
And
Scout, I'll let you. Hey, real quick before I get you out of here.
Yeah.
You want to talk about your experience today?
I actually didn't. But
you ain't got to say it.
Yeah, nah, I actually did. Good. Well, I'll plead the fifth on my experience today. How about that? I'm gonna plead the fifth and reserve my right
not to the game tomorrow.
Not to incriminate myself. I will be at the game tomorrow. We'll say that.
Okay, you getting there early?
Tomorrow I will be able to get there early. Pre-game and all.
You'll be there.
Today I was not able to make pre-game. And therefore
those damn MLB rules.
Things. Yeah. But hey, you know, if this is the thing to complain about though, MLB rules, all-time great pitcher not performing in the postseason, but you're spoiled enough to have, your fourth appearance in 6 years. I'll take it. I'll take these problems. These are good problems to have. So hopefully Valdez kind of rights the ship tomorrow for the Astros.
All right, man. I'll holler at you, dude.
All right, man.
All right, see ya. So on to game 2. We got one novel here. This is more than a comment. You know what? Altuve hasn't done a damn thing. Mancini hit 3 home runs in a game. Now he can't hit a softball. Vasquez hasn't hit shit either. The other day, Garcia came in and was lights out to help win the 18-inning game. You got to give credit to the scrappy-ass hitters. They fouled off pitch after pitch. They appeared to always be batting while our innings were 1, 2, 3. Couldn't have said it better myself. On to game 2. Subscribe to the channel. Follow on Twitter at Landry Locker or at Landry Locker on Instagram. Thanks to all the Philadelphia people who came through. I like to have fun with Philly, but best example of sports fans in the entire country. You can feel the energy, whether it's a big Eagles game, whether it's a Sixers game, and whether it's these playoff games. You can feel it. The energy's so damn good. You can have the TV on mute and feel the buzz. That's how strong the Philadelphia buzz is. So might be bored by the ball club, but I'm definitely not bored by the fan base. And talk your shit, because I know Astros fans and Astros Twitter, they can be pretty nasty. So you get the dub, you got the momentum. You got to win 3 out of 6 games to win a World Series. Go ahead and talk that shit. You need to enjoy it. And remember, sports are serious. It ain't that serious, though. We're all in this together. Thanks to everyone for coming by. Please subscribe at Landry Locker on Twitter, at Landry Locker on Instagram. The Astros choke because of Justin Verlander and Dusty Baker. Some weird decisions by him. Jose Altuve still on the milk carton, but it's baseball. Got a game tomorrow, game 2. Same thing tomorrow. Have a good one. Enjoy the weekend.